but try not to go too deep without. You know what? Motherfucker, what a day. You know. I could walk on my show. Yeah. Motherfucker, what a day. You know. I could walk on my show. It's the pilot. Motherfucker, what a day. You know. I could walk on my show. Yeah. I feel dancing you out. So ride this fly show. Yeah. Yeah, constantly nagging, complaining to girls, so painful it hurts. Just because I truly love you, that's why I be making it work. Posting those negative pictures of y'all niggas chasing the thirst. Wish I could just leave the emotions at home and just stay for the perks. Yeah, gotta go look for the unity before I start making the verse. Claim I be hating on you when you niggas was hating me first. I don't take nothing personal, my nigga, I take what it's worth. A lot of shit on the internet that is too hateful to search, yeah. I swear they put your ass deep in the water, you know. It's sorta like fucking a girl, your ass never keeping a condom. I like to be to myself while you niggas like being a problem, you know. Don't gotta be a second game just to go be in a column. Just play a position on the block that you land on this earth. I would never land on one sneak peek, then I'm dead gone, yeah. Goddamn dog, I just be lifted. Fuck water, I go walk on light, but that's water in a higher dimension, yeah. Motherfucker, water, yeah. You know, I could walk on my show. Yeah. Motherfucker, water, yeah. You know, I could walk on my show. It's the pilot, motherfucker, water, yeah. You know, I could walk on my show. Yeah, I feel dancing you out, so ride this fly show. Yeah. Soon as we get in the base, you know it's a casualty, y'all. After we done, you know both of us gon' need a battery charge, yeah. Woke up just feeling like I can't believe what just happened at all. This feeling I felt was like magic and then it just happened to fall, yeah. Where did it go now? Girl, why did you go down? You the one causing a change, moving through all of my veins. Cause truly I'm out of my brain, yeah. But everybody know I'm the kind of man. Don't know what kind of word I be in, but I'm good for the body like a vitamin, yeah, yeah. Tryna throw shade, better try again. You stressed out like you got 5 PMs. Your software old like an IBM, yeah, yeah. Dog on a polymath flu planes. Money stand tall like 2 chains. Look up in the sky, see a new day, yeah, yeah. We all got some common gripes. I've been drowning for too long. Now it's time to walk on light. Motherfucker, water, yeah. I could walk on light. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all calming down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So you can understand a little bit more sensitive, lighter spectrum of the world and reality, and you good to go and stuff like that. Maybe someday you could want to grow up to be like Flight. No, further than that. Hey, mommy, I want to be like Mike Flight. And don't go no further than that. And then maybe you could walk on light. Not just think your future is shooting the football. Further than that. Future, goddamn, shoot the damn football from the half court line. Further than that. Now, we're going to talk about some good knowledge, concepts, and things of that nature to be prepared for the full moon and stuff like that. Because I had to wait. I wanted to keep it up, but even especially when it comes to Patreon too, and then I had to sit back and think, wait a minute. Get ready to experience a full moon. Let me collect all this, and then that'll be more fruitful for each specific sign. I'm generalizing it on this live stream for everybody and things of that nature, but so people can get prepared in this some time, so you're not getting messages in the middle of experiences. You're getting the messages ahead of time, so you can be like, all right, let me get myself together now. Anything I ain't been involving myself in, everything I've been involving myself in, let me do the wax on, wax off energy so I can be clear and free, so when the moon go into the full energy, I'm actually fulfilled. Because before we even get into any actual the sign and the energy of it and things of that nature. Just the moon, and the moon, when it carries out itself, when it's full, is going to represent to us energies of fulfillment. Remember, always look for the spiritual essence of something that goes beyond what you see mentally, or that's less in weight. So that'd be like things like the wind, the light rays, and stuff like that. Then when it become heavy in weight, that's when your thoughts become cloudy, then it become a feeling and emotion, and then in an external world that could become your physical representations and your experiences, and an enemy, the way the seasons play out and how you got to react to the things. So this allows you to, counterpartmentalize and pinpoint what you actually are experiencing before jumping into that biased dichotomy mind first. And then for the most part, you end up being on that train of thought, a line of reasoning of lacking knowledge or lacking comprehension. So you shall perish in a scenario that you are in when it takes a know-how that you may lack, and you only know how to present an ego, a bias, or something that may also destroy you based upon you running your mouth that ain't got nothing to do with the logical manner at the hand and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's hey, what's on our mind? You might perish physically. It'd be the same type of stuff, but you know how to stop yourself in your tracks and be around others that's on the path that you're trying to go, so you ain't got to worry about none of that bull in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It's all about getting your mind together. It's all about getting your situation together. It's all about getting your circumstance together. It's all about getting your foundation together in your mind first, and then it'll play out in the physical, and then you ain't got nothing to worry about and stuff like that. So you got to peep game, right? So now, when it comes into but just experiencing the full moon itself, it's gonna bring the energy of fulfillment. And if you're not fulfilled, you're going to be unfulfilled trying to gain fulfillment. And your way of going about trying to gain fulfillment could get you in some sticky situations, could get you in some weird, uncompromising situations, some vulnerable situations, that lack of know-how. And now you feel like you may need some assistance in some way, or based upon your ability to go about that, you may act out in certain ways that may be degenerate, or however the case may be. But for the most part, when you don't go for the things that you are fulfilled, the things that make you fulfilled, when it's a full moon, that's the wrong time to go and try to get it and things of that nature. Because for the most part, there's going to be a lot of people in that same space from the essence, spiritual world, that's developing their own subjective mentality there. And y'all just happen to manifest being in the same physical location because y'all all in the same, if you keep things in order, same spiritual space with your own individual soul. But y'all all going to develop your own awareness mentality that condense and become your mind. So that thoughts condense and become feelings and emotions. Y'all going to create your own perspective there. And then it's going to manifest as y'all being in that same time, same frustrating time, same retarded time, same degenerate time and location and place. And they could be total strangers, but all y'all thought y'all wanted to go to McDonald's to get 2 fish for $6 or whatever the case may be. And y'all probably got y'all first of the month checks early. So the goddamn line is in the street. You know what I'm saying? For nasty food anyway. That's how you know these cats, McDonald's be putting stuff in their stuff, and goddamn it, Burger King and everybody and stuff. Because all you always know is about to be the first when the line is in the street. And you be thinking like, how y'all eating that anyway like that? Let alone these cats make up in their mind set plans and stuff like that to go a fast food restaurant. You can tell too, it's always the same stuff. So I'm like, what's wrong with people? Is people LD or retarded a little bit or something like that? You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you just got to think about things. So if you unfulfilled, you're going to be in these situations where instead of you going to get something from the grocery store right now, it's going to be the full moon. You ain't paying attention to the full moon, and you're going to be hungry, and your only substantiated way is some out of sync way, and you're gonna be in a frustrating long line when it comes time for you wanting to be hungry during the full moon and stuff like that. And hopefully you ain't around too many frustrating people and stuff like that, because it'd be people linking up with other people. It just so happened in sync, being at the same area. Yeah, people with problems be hungry too. So you got one person beefing with another person, they both hungry because it's around the first or something like, you know what I'm saying? These cats both hungry or something like that. So you could just get hit with a stray line or be a witness to somebody getting hit upside their head or something like that real good. However the case, make sure hopefully it ain't too extreme. But I'm just letting you know how situations can play out in a simple way when you're doing things and you're unfulfilled, and then you feel like you need to go do these things to get you fulfilled during the time of the full moon. That's going to be the wrong time, wrong place, wrong scenario, wrong circumstance, wrong idea, and a reminder that you were supposed to already have that 1-2 together in some way, shape, or form. So if you stay ready, now you ain't got to get ready down now. Well. And that's all you gotta know. That's all you gotta know. That's all you gotta understand in this thing, and then you'll be straight. You'll be good to go. But a lot of times y'all don't like to stay in sync, and then you just think it's heavily predicated on astrology, and then you might hear a lot of other people describe astrology and stuff like that, then it'll throw you away from it. It'll turn you away from it because they talking about it through the lens of divination or personality and stuff like that. So it'll have the average person who don't even care about astrology thinking that an astrologer, and then a lot of astrologers ain't teachers, so they just scammers. So they don't know how to reach things at angles and know how they may be perceived, where the average individual who not even into astrology may start to think that this astrologer explaining a sign like everybody who that sign act the same. And if you've been an astrologer for a long time and you don't know how to explain yourself in that magnitude, how all signs ain't the same, and that ain't what you actually saying, then you like a grifter anyway. You know what I'm saying? There's a little ice pack on my little hernia. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about the ice pack. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, yeah, y'all be in situations where y'all don't even explain, and then so you be so far in your grift, it does come across as you making it sound like all Aries is the same. I'm saying all Taurus is the same, all Geminis, and that's wrong. And it ain't just predicated on individuals because they got different alignments either, and different moon signs either, because you could be a person with a totally almost the same chart too. It's based on an individual and their perception. So just because you got an energy don't mean you're going to do the energy the same way somebody else going to do the energy. So if I'm an Aries, that don't mean I hate sports. So that lets you know whatever they describe and try to say, all Aries like sports, that's wrong. But Aries represent cardinal fire. So I do initiate, and I do create, and I do lead, and I am passionate, and I do got a lot of feelings and things of that nature. So how I go about that with my own independence is based upon my living conditions, the mother's ass I came out of, and things of that nature. And then for the most part, how I see things. So the Aries energy get played out through how I see things, not some Aries being an archetype and everybody who are Aries play that out. That's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could be a nerd, but if they fiery, they're a fiery nerd. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could be in sports. They're a fiery sports person. Somebody could be anything, a goddamn janitor. They're a fiery janitor or whatever the case may be. Whatever they life in or whatever they gonna do what their life is. It's just the element behind it that represent that time of the year. You got the essence of a bunch of other things that happen at that time of the year. And we just like objectify it. So we trickle it down the fire. You know what I'm saying? AKA what springs things into existence. The sun spreads off as light and cool off, and now we got water, clouds. Then that spread off and get thinner. Then we get air, and then it gets condensed, and then things grow. Then we get earth, and that's spring, summer, fall, winter. Fire, water, air, and earth. You know what I'm saying? So when fire and water is combusting and stuff like that, it makes that steam. That's air. When that steam cool off, it gets to settle, and the ashes and stuff like that, that's earth. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting your mind in the right perspective to understand that there's a mechanism to something, and it's just for lack of better ways of communicating that with each other is it. But we all know what's going on. We just might get lost in a form of wording and meaning we put on something that don't have the full spectrum of it when we start using it for monetary gains and egos and stuff like that, as such as like other animals and bugs do and stuff. So we end up walking around with thinking that the first levels of know-how is the end-all and be-all. Then when we come to knowing that we need new experiences based off unfamiliarity, we only know how to lean and depend on as a crutch what was already the know-how. And then when it don't work sufficiently, that's when we start to argue amongst each other because we be mad at each other. So here's where you get dichotomies, philosophies, and stuff like that. And then it take for us to just come up with stupid stuff like we don't know everything. That's a made up thing. You know you don't know what I'm talking about. You know you ain't smarter than me. You're supposed to know that. You know what I'm saying? That's the real psyche. That's the real philosophy. And if we ain't looking at it like that, you ain't in the philosophy. You in the psychology to rock somebody to sleep. And you probably got more problems than them. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the moon get ready to go into Virgo, right? That's mutable earth, being mutable and being able to adapt to your own or other people's ways of thinking and being practical. So these are going to be the qualities, especially predicated on sixth house. That's the position in the sky that the moon is going to be in that position when the sun is there. That takes us into fall time, the harvesting. So we're supposed to, understand this is the last 30-day spectrum of summertime, or the last phase, and we're supposed to go ahead and take everything we have grown and get prepared for a time that we may not be able to grow that fruitful anymore things, and it might start getting cold and things ain't ready to grow at that time. So for the most part, we harvest enough things so we can get through the fall and winter based upon those forms of necessities, and that's largely based on food and stuff. Clothing and shelter, we kind of got that rooted in. And since we got a bunch of GMO foods and stuff like that, y'all kind of think y'all got that rooted in, but back in the day it was a different thing. But for the most part, that's how you kind of understand it. So when the moon is in that position, it's going to make us in that energy of wanting to worry more about what works, our responsibilities, our day-to-day tasks. You know what I'm saying? How we sustain ourselves, dealing with work, health, routine, scheduling, your day-to-day basis. And the things that may lead into stress a lot of times if you don't take care of it, so it's on your mind so much, it start to bend in as physical wear and tear. Even certain actions that you do be erratic and stuff like that can get you something simple, right? You so sporadic and nervous about something, you can stub your toe or whatever before you put your shoes on, before you go to work or something like that, or trip and fall, anything. You know what I'm saying? But these are energies that's going to be extremely high at the moment, and you ain't gonna have no choice but to be in them if you start to interact into that I'm unfulfilled energy, aka I didn't get something done, I didn't take care of a responsibility, because it's gonna be filtered through Virgo. So anytime you start to feel like, damn, I should have did that, or damn, I want to do that, and it develops as an extra excitement and things of that nature, then for the most part, you're adding your own moon and energy, and then all stars don't align. Your moon and sun ascendant might not even align with the moon. So you get ready to create a worse situation than someone else that might have a little bit of grace, even if they do make a mistake, because it's understood, because the stars probably align. They sun and moon probably conjunct or trine. Conjunction that could vary at times, though. Sometimes you can use too much energy and it still be like the opposition. But at the same time, because too much of the same energy in the same place play out a combustion. It's like two things trying to do the same job or whatever, and if they ain't cool, it ain't gonna be nothing but a head button or whatever the case may be. Now, what makes it cooler than the opposition, because they share the same element, so that's supposed to be higher on a percentage scale of something being cool first before the competition, other than the opposite. But if it's not cool first, and depending on what side of the bed an individual wake up on, they can have a lot of conjunctions that's more terrible than being oppositions and things of that nature. Too much energy, too much pent up focal point on one specific element and modality. Sometimes I drive a person crazy on trying to help people understand them, and it become impossible in some way, shape, or form, because a person don't have a lot of angles within themselves, so inwardly play out outwardly by default. A person don't have a lot of angles to attack how others may perceive a certain situation when they're in them certain type of discussions, trying to have people see where they're coming from, right? So a person who got a lot of conjunctions, it's hard for them to see a lot of different angles and sides to things. So it's important for them to have close ones around them that might get a lot of different alignments, that they're able to come in a more easy way to their family member, so it's not aggressive. Like the family member don't have to go through a lot of situations of headbutting first to realize that they may be the one that's wrong, and come to them in just a way to let them know that, hey, this is a way you need to see something, or you may not know how you appear to be right now, how you're acting, or however the case. Because a person with a lot of conjunctions could fully be convinced on how they see and feel about things, or how they think and communicate, or how they think and be practical, or how they deal with feelings and emotions, whether it's fire, air, earth, or water. You know what I'm saying? In that order, how I broke it down. So when it comes to Virgo right now, you know what I'm saying? The moon is in Leo. It's going to lead up to it. So as the moon was in Cancer, you were supposed to be reacting and responding to the things that you care about. And you also had a more creative way to express it due to the fact of it being a 120-degree angle, or 120 days away from the position that the sun was in, that the moon was currently in when we experienced summertime. So that'd be the sun or the moon being in Cancer and things of that nature, while the sun being in Pisces, 120 degrees away. So it was favorable. But if you was more on a negligent, degenerate side, even if you did express something negative, you had a little bit more grace. People was a little bit more understanding based upon where you were emotionally coming from. So people could kind of feel where you coming from, even if it was something derogatory or something negative against them. It wasn't going to be an extreme. But it was even better if you was on the positive side, because what you care about was able to be filtered through the positive side of Pisces, mutable water, Jupiter, co-ruler, Neptune qualities, as far as how we explain it or whatever the case may be, right? So you'll be in a situation where, you won't be on the fantasy land area. You'll be more on your dreams and imaginations being perceived as creative, and based upon what you care about, that will be shown and expressed as what's being creative and things. And people who even damage or need resolution or solutions, you come up with a more creative way to help emotional instabilities going amongst your family, friends, associates, or coworker. Just during that time, a lot of people don't be taking these stargates, portals. That's what these actually are. When you create a thought, it bend in and become a collection of thoughts and a feeling, and then you start to express it. Once you walk through that imagery, even if you're not physically experiencing it yet and things of that nature, your spirit walking through a portal. We make doors, door gates, stars, and stargates and doors, and then we walk through it, and then it become a train of thought and line of reasoning. So that's what that is. A lot of times y'all go down the wrong train of thought, line of reasoning, but you can replace that with you walk through the wrong portal. And then for the most part, all those lights, those thought forms with other spirits in that world, thought forms, y'all mind states, is in a hellistic state. So sometimes you have to leave and jump ship to another Stargate. But for the most part, when we got the moon being in Virgo, now on the lead up, because that's going to be the full moon, as the moon transitioned from being in Cancer, now everything that we cared about going to be transmuted into, can you get attention, receive, or give attention for it? Is it someone outwardly or a thing outwardly that has that you could get rid of your ego and give it attention so you can get that favorable energy back and don't fight against it? Or is it something you can receive attention from, utilizing that quality in certain degrees? And while the moon was in Leo, that may have been a little harder for sun, moon, and ascendants, Aquariuses, Tauruses, and Scorpios, and things of that nature. And then even when it comes into the in conjunction signs, Pisces, as the sun being there, it may have been things that have been blind to you from things that you know that you can do during this particular time until the moon have shifted from Leo, right? So that'll be Pisces and Capricorn may have been confused on what they can control and what they can't control at this time, and having to deal with other people who have extra emotions and stuff like that and want the attention for things that probably ain't even worth giving them the attention for, or it's something that they want credit for that they ain't even really put in the effort to deserve that credit, or however the case may be. But they may be doing things in this area to get their attention, putting up a fight or putting up a frustration or complaining about things that they don't even should be. They ain't even the right person, like kind of like that energy, right message, wrong messenger. Yeah, everybody at this job need a raise. Not you though, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so yeah, good message, wrong messenger. You like the laziest person here, like something like that, you know what I'm saying? So even if it's something you was in control over, or even when it comes to being a breadwinner or certain responsibilities dealing with the family and stuff like that, you might been putting in your 1-2 and still putting in your 1-2. And here goes somebody else expressing themselves in another way to try to make it seem like something needs to be done and they need to be in control of it or whatever the case may be. And they forgot you the one paying for it. They forgot that part. And they forgot that part, so you got to remind them, you know what I'm saying? So intentions clash and stuff like that, as we are experiencing right now, the moon and Leo. So it's going to be like that for a little bit of tomorrow, too. A little bit of tomorrow. It's going to be in the energy of everybody's trying to express themselves in a certain way. But by the sun being in Pisces, that's how it looked. So when people try to express Leo, it may look like Pisces, over-exaggerated. So right now, you may even see people over-exaggerating their mood about something. They're feeling about something. They might want to overly express it, overly talk about it, overly. It's kind of like a sense of trying to make you see and feel where they're coming from in some way. But they may be in a fixated version of that. Something that you don't care about, something that they think you care about, something may be stubborn, something that ain't got something to do with consistency or whatever the case may be. And they're going to express it even more and more, the more they're not getting a reciprocation from how you may react or whatever the case. And it's going to be about some delusion. If a person already a rock to sleep degenerate individual that's already psyoped out in the brain, right? Everything that they about to over exaggerate is going to be about a fantasy, some Walt Disney, DreamWorks, Neptune, Pharrell Williams chat, and the whole goddamn it Star Trek lick. You know what I'm saying? Everything. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be energetic about it and stuff like that. They might even be funny about it and stuff, but it's gonna be about some lost, you know what I'm saying, some lost and foggy fart cloud man land world. You know what I'm saying? So just be prepared right now for people to be over exaggerating about their imaginations. You probably have to deal with it today. You probably had to deal with it a little bit of yesterday to even get prepared and stuff like that. Now, if you're on the right side of energy, right, you could be in some type of setting the stage in your own mind before trying to express yourself, and now you set the stage to be the cause and effect to get the attention, probably for all the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? You want to sit back and observe right now, be in that mutable energy, because that's how it's supposed to look. Remember, the sun is in Pisces. So you're always trying to counterpartmentalize this dream and imagination. And is it creative or is it a delusion? Is it a false faith and belief? Or is it something that I could pull from and be seen as that looks interesting, or however the case may be. So a dream and imagination, right? Whether you sleep or whether you imagine it. Is it creative or is it a delusion? Now, as the moon is the world we in. So that's what actually we're going to be doing. You just have to make sure it look like Pisces. You may have a hard time to do it during this particular time if you a sun, moon, or ascendant, and Virgo per se, Sagittarius, and Gemini, due to the fact of these are 90-degree angles, squares. So y'all are interested into the same things, but y'all go about it in different ways. The what is the modality. Y'all all mutable, but the how y'all go about it is what's different, the element. So it goes where, you know, the air may clash with the earth, trying to do the same job. The earth may clash, they all clash with each other. The water, Pisces may clash, Sagittarius may clash, because y'all all trying to do the same thing this y'all own individual way. And depending on the transit that we all experiencing, that lets us know what way is better to go about it or not, if we all are in tune with that kind of energy and stuff like that. So we don't all be arguing with each other when, you know, one individual stars might not align that week. So that person's supposed to already know that, and everybody that's coming up with ideas, you know, you may not be right, but can't see how you're not fully right. And a lot of times you'll allow yourself to get out your ego if everybody on the same page of how we're looking at things before we make our decisions and stuff like that. And that's how y'all keep things running on that type of ship too. I said ship, not ship. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, business ship, partnership. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But as the moon being in Leo right now, it's preparing us. So just be reminded, right? Just to remind you, people are going to be reacting and responding either over exaggerated, but they're going to be expressive, and they want to set the stage to be the cause or the effect for something that could be gave or received attention from, or to be putting somebody else on to what one individual may be entertaining at the moment. So all these type of qualities and stuff like that going to be filtered through things like art, movies, music, creativity, creative type things, fantasy. So, you know, a person may even try to explain themselves when they're expressing themselves through something like maybe a movie they think everybody's seen, or maybe a television show, or maybe a cartoon or something like that. That's going to be high on a totem pole at this particular time of how people are expressing themselves. People may use what they think is common that everybody else have seen in a way when it comes to their business, entertainment, education, religion, or politics, or just even their social media. You know what I'm saying? You might get an idea that you want to make a social media post. Your first couple ideas that you want to express, Leo, may have something to do with something that has something to do with something on Walt Disney, or a movie, or something that you probably know other people are interested in, or something like that. So you can make that metaphor. You know what I'm saying? You can make that 12th house energy, or however the case. So that's how. So it'll be something through layers, not just dry cut. This how I feel, or just what I want to say today. It'll be this how I feel. This what I want to say through this filter and lens. You know, hopefully you get it. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the case. And then once you understand that, this help you even build more creativity for whatever you got going on. If you're a person that's more like a creator, people who ain't got nothing going on, your mind's still creative. You just do it for unintelligent, uncreative stuff. So you just do a whole bunch of I'm creative, full degenerate things and stuff like that. And then when you end up in the halfway house, people got to be like, you got to say I wasn't myself. No, you was yourself. You was yourself, you know what I'm saying? Your intelligence was just misguided or whatever the case. So people got to tell you retarded for a little bit. So you could be like, I don't want to be called retarded no more. So you can start exercising your intelligence in the right area. But as the sun being in Pisces and the moon being in Leo, right? If you're on the right side of things, you're able to set the stage for something creative or something that you want to express that people can start to look at as they get potential or whatever. And then once you express it and you ain't setting yourself up for, oh, I need something now, as the moon transition and you still feel fulfilled, it's transitioning into Virgo. Now, Virgo is earth qualities. So just because it's mutable earth, that's one thing. But when we talk about the earth essence itself, that's another. You'll be able to profit or be able to collect or ground something, even if it's not profitable. You'll at least be able to ground it during that time of the moon going into Virgo. Then that'll be God showing you how you're internally fulfilled about something, not out and about doing things because you ain't do it at a time, and now you're playing out that low vibrational of being unfulfilled energy. No, you're playing it out in reverse, how it is and how it's supposed to be, how God is. So it's internally, you're psyching yourself up to already be fulfilled. So things that God see that could be much greater, that you're looking at it from your smaller perspective, but you added some God energy in it. You like, but I already know it's to be. It's already fulfilled. Or a lot of people that's lost in the low vibrational life and things of that nature, as long as you're doing physical things and you ain't got to go out and about and get it, you done took care of it now, whether it's grocery shopping, however the case may be, right? That'd be the low vibrational of still being on the positive side of energy. You know what I'm saying? But you're convincing yourself, all right, I already did this. And then now you're self-projected in the spiritual world. And then that's how God do it. So whatever you self-projected there, that's what you actually manifest down here in a way that's mysterious. So you end up being fulfilled in an area you wasn't even in a demonic energy called expectation and in the first place. Even if other people got that in that same position and they can expect certain things, and then they always get highly upset when that percentage scale of expectation don't come back because they be setting themselves up for that failure, being in that train of thought and line of reasoning. But once you already been like, all right, boom, I'm satisfied, I'm fulfilled, God know better. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be looking at something like, all right, that's cool. You'll never have to be in no energy of be careful what you ask for. You'll always be in like, I'm always good, and whatever come with it is just an extra. It's just a perk. And when God looking at it like that, God give you stuff that's more than your wildest dreams. Because you ain't lost in that expectation energy. When you lost in expectation, sometimes it goes, and more than often, it goes through the filtering system of you're expecting a specific person, place, or thing, or scenario, or opportunity. And whatever that you're doing could come in many different attributes. And you'll be blocked off and blinded from seeing these things. Because you'll only be looking at the expectation filter. And then you'll have to go more and more into the details until you don't even get what you expect. Or if you got what you expect, it come with a lot of bullshit. And then you have to be careful what you ask for energy. Because you ain't even have to go about it and get it in that way, but yet you wasn't open to all those other ways, opportunities, or people, places, and things that it was going to come because you had the glasses of expectations on. So a lot of times you have to be careful. Things don't always come in a way you expect, and as they're coming, you could be lost in what you think it should expect, or what you think it should be coming in, and what you expect it as, or whatever. And therefore, it could be in front of you that week, in front of you the next week, and then if you don't take that or open your mind to see it, or whatever the case may be, and start to act on it, God will take it away from you, or whatever. God will take it right away from you, no matter what it is. It could be all the way down to a damn relationship. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep your minds open, your eyes open. You know what I'm saying? Keep everything open and stuff like that. And what do that mean? Learn what equilibrium is. So you start to lessen the percentage scale of your acting on your biases. So you start to realize everything is simultaneous. Since you automatically by default got what God taught all of us, the ability to have all these things. So you can't get outside yourself. So you naturally going to have what becomes what we're calling a bias. So keep the percentage scale of what you're fulfilling in that box that got too much to do with the external world and things of that nature. So therefore, when you're making your first body, that should be the only bias you care about. So that bias play out, and when it bends into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, the most unbiased way possible, because you're doing things in reverse. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, when you know more about yourself, your own mind, you know more about your biases, to the point that you know how to not let little pieces of them go haywire and get expressed in areas that you're unaware of how you could be seen that could possibly be degenerate. And then for the most part, once you get that together, you know how to not allow your natural, which how God gave us the spiritual world and the mind, that pocket of biases, get in the way of the physical biases and other people biases and things of that nature. And therefore, even when those start to butt heads, you know how to separate your emotion behind that specific bias that we all got the ability to have, from someone else that put all their fleshly fluid and mentality in it, or whatever the case may be. So you're able to take it more easier than another individual. Pause. But for the most part, that's how God wants you to do it and stuff like that. It ain't what we do, it's how we do it, and all the way down into the mind or whatever. So that's how you really pray. You don't pray asking for something. You're in reverse. In the spiritual world, you already got something. So in the physical world, whatever you don't got, that's the physical and the flesh. You got the essence that made that dough, so you got the ability to obtain it or something similar, or to create it in some type of way. So you're supposed to be in a spiritual space of, thank you, God, for giving me this already, even if you ain't got it, because you manifest it, which is the actual manifesting, not materializing as the physical, how grifters and charlatans try to explain it. Manifesting is getting the mysterious substance before somebody can see it, the idea. Then the idea been in as feelings and emotions and transmuted in creativity. If God gave it to you, then that creativity could get you to materialize from what you just manifested in your mind and things of that nature. So it's supposed to go like that. But people don't understand that. So it's like you're supposed to be like, thank you, God, for already giving me this. Because you ain't supposed to be expecting what you asking for. You already know God getting ready to give you the idea. That's what you was thanking God for, the idea, right? Thank you for giving me this mind or whatever. And then it's going to bend in. Because you already set yourself up in your mind like, I already got this. Just like people do it in a negative way every first Sunday at a Catholic church when you drink cranberry juice and eat a cracker. But on your mind, you're practicing, you think you're eating Jesus' flesh and drinking Jesus' blood, or whatever the case may be, for whatever meaning you put on it, to act out in your life, to be a vampire and suck somebody else dry. But when you do these things in positive areas and stuff like that, it worked out in this way. So let's say you need $20, right? That's physical. But if you got to use that word, still thank God for already having it. Without the words, your spirit is in a certain space, making a certain awareness. That awareness is your first body, your mind. Before it condenses as a collection of thoughts and become feelings and emotions, you spark the first engine of it. That one is closer to God. So you emanate an energy of something you already have in that area in the spiritual world that bend in already in the physical, that people have made objects off of and stuff like that. So once you fulfill that little honey spiritual space pocket there with your mind honey substance and that spiritual space there and something like that, and like think you already got it, then for the most part, then it start to bend in as you are aware of the idea of how to get it. You know what I'm saying? And then that bend in from the 4th, 5th, and 6th, because that's the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension. Then that bend in the mind, how to get it, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And then it bends into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. You end up being in a situation where you end up getting it, or getting more of it. You know what I'm saying? So what you thought you was asking for, you end up getting more. So you're walking out as the character itself. So you ever heard that saying? To get money, you have to act like money. So if your spirit is in that space and you know what money is, money grow. Money is what people want. But why do people want money? Because they want an object or a service or whatever the case may be. So boom, you start planting that seed in the spiritual world with your soul, right? You start emanating thoughts, minds, and then for the most part in that pocket is going to be like, okay, I'm creating an idea that has something to do with it being a necessity. I'm creating an idea that got something to do with it could be a product. I'm creating an idea that got something, and then from boom, once you're in that area, now it's starting to transmute into what you specifically know how to do with your thoughts and feelings and emotions with that goal that you're creating. So your soul create a mind. Your soul is your individual solo spirit, and then boom, it's like, okay, this now you start to walk that out. Now you look like money. So before you get money, you look like the thing that can attract it, or whatever. Or you're, and it's going to play out as you doing it, looking like it, talking about it, expressing it, because it's already in your mind. And so it's just the idea, and now you're putting that idea from the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension into the 1, 2, and third dimension, and then eventually, once you put it into work, hands work, boots on the ground, female sandals on the ground, whatever the case may be, then you will start to get the physical representations of that idea, or whatever. But for the most part, that's how that's how you fill up little pockets and stuff, and walk and be something. You got to be something. So that's the real fake it till you make it energy. When you do it for God, it's in the mental world, and you convince your energy. So you're convinced. So once you're unconvincible, you're invincible when it comes to God and things of that nature. So a lot of times, even if you're wrong, you shouldn't be wrong all the time trying to figure out if you're right. But let's say even if you're wrong, people will give you grace because they say you got some kind of consonant dissonance about your ego, about yourself, and that's a piece of energy that everybody wants for themselves. A lot of people can't feel good about themselves, and even when they come across a person that everybody can agree with is wrong, and they still in that energy or whatever, you have a sense of admiring for that. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't the what, it's the how. How that person may be doing it, you might consider still justify as wrong. But what they doing, you still be wanting a piece of that. Because we all doing the same thing. We just do it in our own way. The how. You see what I'm saying? So how that person may be doing it, you're like, I don't like that. They're doing it degenerate. They're negative spirit in the spiritual space. But that constant dissonance that they got in that strong percentage scale, I could use it for my life in this right area right here. And that's how all spirits be reading each other. We all see a light in each other that one can't see themselves. If they go down, they really can. They just won't be able to see it from someone else's perception, someone else's point of view. Start a point of reference from the first time. Letter A, star. You know what I'm saying? So as the sun get ready to go into, damn, time go fast. As the sun start to go into, not the sun, the moon start to go into Virgo, right? Then for the most part, we're going to have to learn how to be a little bit more worried or stressful a little bit about getting too drifty, or about getting too lost, or about not working on our creativity, or not about not, because that's what it's going to make us feel. It's going to make you feel like you missing something, or you haven't been doing something, or something like that. If you got any type of creative attribute and you've been putting it in the back seat, it's going to make you feel like bad about it, like you just totally separated from the feeling that made you feel like you need to put it in the back seat in the first place. And it's going to replace it with a feeling of why you ain't do it yet and you need to do it now, when you had a feeling to replace why you ain't do it yet, which is why I was in the back seat in the first place, whether you had to go to the esoteric drawing board or whatever. But a lot of times you could be one of those individuals that it's gold, and the universe and God trying to show you, don't sit on no gold right now. Why is you sitting on gold, or whatever the case may be? And you go through like an inner full moon energy. You feel unfulfilled, so you want to express that, but it's some gold, it's some creativity. So as soon as you start to do it, you might reach a whole bunch of minor frustrations and stuff like that. It could be something minor, like even if you do music. But as soon as you're about to do it, now all this sudden something wrong with the equipment. Now all this sudden ain't doing something right. Or now all this sudden you got to do this extra thing added that you ain't have to do last week or something like that. So it's gonna be minor stuff like that. But if you're doing something positive, as long as you don't let that make you give up or whatever the case may be, you'll reap the benefits a lot more, because you're still doing that internal unfulfillment. I'm trying to get fulfilled, but doing it for God. So even when we fail at times, the more that you do it for God, you have grace, and you're still in better situations than others, and able to point to where it could be worse. You know what I'm saying? In your situation, it ain't even where it could be worse. It could be where it could be better. It's only getting better. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep that in mind too. And a lot of times people don't put trust into that because you're not understanding that's what's going on. It's always a happening. There's always a mechanism that's happening and a procedure. And you want to make sure that you always in order of it. You got your own order, and in Teamwork Makes the Dream Work, the order of it itself. You know what I'm saying? Spring, summer, fall, and winter, and then all the etiquettes from the day to the week to the month. So, and then in nature. So when you start to understand, you have your own version of that order. There's an essence of just the order itself without you having to be on the same time. Your summertime don't have to be during everybody's summertime, but you know what that energy mean as an essence, the mechanism itself. So you know when to shine your light, and you know when to dim it a little bit when there's other lights around that could kind of be detriment into a clash version, and then that those lights clash turn into clouds. Now everybody emotional about something. Now it turn into air, or is get ready to rain. So now everybody want to communicate it, right? And then for the most part, it can get physical if it's a negative, detrimental situation with all y'all earth, y'all bodies, and the physical environment that y'all that's created from that atmosphere and stuff. So that's what we're doing. This is what life is. You know what I'm saying? We make weather. You know what I'm saying? We make things hot. We make things cold. We make things. This is what we do. We create. Your temperament is your temperature. Temperament creates temperature. All of our minds together is making that temperament, and externally, teamwork makes the dream work. That's what creates temperature. You know what I'm saying? So when you're interacting with individuals, you're creating an atmosphere. And then what y'all get ready to do with that atmosphere, all y'all minds, y'all get ready to act that out and produce something within the environment. You know what I'm saying? So that environment has a certain atmosphere, a vibe to it, a collection of thoughts and feelings that those spirits was creating, that was in a mind, those thoughts and feelings that condensed and became bodies, physical, left a presence. So that esoteric, energetic presence left physical presence in that arena and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Under the holy Christmas tree. Holy Christmas tree. But, like I said, so everybody get prepared. Make sure that you ain't on the wrong side of energy and you too low vibrational. So you ain't go to the liquor store when you're supposed to go to it. So now when the moon is getting ready to go in Virgo and stuff like that, now you got to make sure you go to the liquor store and stuff like that, because you know tomorrow, Sunday? If it ain't 12 yet in 3 minutes. So it's Sunday. So you're going to be like, oh, I forgot. Then Monday hit. It's the full moon, and you're like, oh, I'm about to go now, and end up being caught in a stick up. You know what I'm saying? Now you're caught in the middle of the first couple of scenes of Menace to Society when old dog got the tape and start scamming, trying to sell it for $99.99. $99.95 or however the case, you know what I'm saying? $59.95. You know what I'm saying? Just scamming the whole block. Just scamming the whole block and stuff like that. But you might get caught in the middle of these and stuff like that, or even catch it straight. So you got to be careful. Like talk about catch it straight. I don't want to talk like that. But it could be that type of situation when you was unfulfilled and you ain't take care of your business, and now it's gonna reach those certain forks in the road for you if you out and about. Wrong place, wrong time energies get manifested. So just be careful during this particular time. Everybody out there, you know. And when it comes into Pisces itself, if you're on the right side of energy, it's going to allow you to have beneficial ideas to ground your creative attributes, or to be able to start to separate and start to worry about those thoughts you was in, because now you're going to start realizing those are delusional ones, or you're in some type of false faith and belief when it comes into your dreams and imagination. They can only go two routes: be creative or delusion. And we all going to have this period to be able to ponder, especially if you're on the right side of energy and you're already fulfilled. You're not out and about, so you're going to have time to think about these things before another person that's out and about, and they're expressing all their delusions higher on the percentage scale and stuff like that. And due to the fact of whatever that they manifested with the moon being in Cancer and Leo, it could be something completely catastrophic, because Virgo brings seriousness. So, or brings something that could hurt the physical, or something dealing with material or earth in some way, shape, or form. And while the moon being in Leo, you might created an experience and got the attention that's getting ready to be all the attention for the wrong reasons, and then someone want to do something to you, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case. So you have to be careful. Or you might express yourself in such a way that might not have anything to do with drama or however the case, but you just overexhaust yourself And it's going to play out on your health even more, to the point that the things that you want to do, you ain't going to be able to do it Monday. You ain't going to be able to do it Tuesday. You're going to be some type of fatigued or something like that you wasn't before. Because you're going to be looking at things like, man, I did it the same way I did it any other time. But the moon in Leo right now gives you this extra energy that you may be unaware of, and how you expressed it. And then it doesn't even always have to be a physical expression or you being at work or something like that. It could be a thought form, a thought pattern that you overly express. Like a joke that you think the joke gonna be funny tomorrow, or whatever the case may be. When you could have spent time, you could have spent time developing more jokes, but you just sat there and got so hyped inside yourself, like, oh, they like that joke. They like it. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm off Sunday, so Monday, I can't wait to tell that joke again or whatever. And then boom, you go Monday and whatever, and then you get it's like you overexhausted yourself. People get your joke fatigue. So now you get your little pride hurt and stuff like that because you thought you had that little Sunday window. And now you all hyped up with this unfulfilled energy from ego. That's the negative way of being unfulfilled. Now, wrong place, wrong time for that joke just because it was funny Saturday. Or it was funny Friday. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? The moon in Leo now. It ain't going to be funny once the moon going to Virgo. You know what I'm saying? It might not make you no money or nothing like that. And who said it was going to make you some money in the first place? You got to switch up or whatever. Be a little bit more practical, or be in the mind state of taking care of your responsibilities, or don't even be in no scenario of needing to be fulfilled in some way, shape, or form. You should be taking care of all those things now. But anytime you're in a situation of being unfulfilled, and then it's going in these energies, especially when it comes into the full moon being in Virgo, man, Leo energy don't be bringing a lot of positive stuff. Like, you could be a type of person who ain't even attention seeking, but let's say you were just out and about and you in a negative area or whatever the case may be, like just spiritually at the moment, that area ain't always negative, but you know, just might be things going on. You might just have somebody jealous about something that you got. They're jealous of your car or whatever the case may be. Here you go, you got a slash secret admirer hater now. You know what I'm saying? Now when it's a full moon or whatever the case may be, you got some new enemy. You got some new goddamn key slash across your car or whatever the case. Your 9, you know what I'm saying? Your infinity or whatever. They're like, how I get this? I'm like, how you gotta think and stuff like, how I get this? And you can't even think about it, but it's someone who was in a funk. So now you got all the attention for the wrong reasons, because you being out and about, but the moon was in Leo and you ain't checking yourself, and then you ain't know as the moon get ready to be full in Virgo. You know what I'm saying? And somebody just want to do something. They worried about themselves and why they ain't got something. And they want to put their 2 cents into something. So they might even carve out 2 pennies like on the back and stuff like that. Like just hating. Something physical get messed up. You know what I'm saying? Something physical, something tangible. Somebody go broke or something like that. So you be careful when the moon is full and you unfulfilled and you got to go do things. Like it could be something that you should have been did and you ain't did it yet. Now it's an overcharge or something like that, or you got the over. You know what I'm saying? Things you ain't prepared for, and it puts you in those situations that you got to worry on spot. Because mutable signs is fast. So they put you in that situation like, oh man, I got to worry on spot. Like you got to make sure you have that lead up energy anytime you know it's a full moon or a new moon. Get ready to go into Virgo. Make sure you're taking Cancer and Leo when the moon is transitioning into those energies very serious. Because you could be real goofy at those times. And it'll work any other time if it ain't get ready to land on no full moon or no new moon or whatever. But when it's get ready to land on a full moon or a new moon, so that you know that's at the sun in Pisces or whatever the case may be, or if the sun if the sun and moon and Pisces also, if the sun and the moon was in Virgo, if we was going through that time or whatever, then you have to know that would be a new moon. Then you have to know that anything that you're bringing from Leo is getting ready to be highly over exaggerated. And you could be playing out those energies too. You could have went through something and you're over exaggerating the feeling of it. So you may think this person feel this way. So you think you're competing in your mind. Your feeling got to be more explosive. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And someone probably ain't even thinking about your monkey. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, your shaver that. So here you go, get ready to tell someone off in an extra extreme way. and a situation get a lot of attention because it'll be Leo-like. Now, here's the thing. Person might not do nothing then, but when the moon go into Virgo and stuff like that, they're going to feel unfulfilled. And then they're going to be on the side of energy I'm trying to warn y'all not to be on. And then they may do something hasty, but you just might be on the wrong side of energy in their mind for them. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they'd do it at that time. And that's why we be experiencing, like, so many negative energies and stuff like that, and people dying and stuff around the full moon. Or people health go sporadic, especially if they're old in age. Their health go sporadic, and it'd be their time to go around the full moon. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be something that they should have been doing or whatever the case may be, but they slip-ups of not doing it. It could be something simple as medication. Yeah, they was able to slip up and stuff like that last week or last month or whatever the case may be, but then when it comes into that new or full moon going into Virgo, that slip up might not allow you to last yourself after that day or no more. And you was going good. You was going good at 91 years old. You was going good at 93. You know what I'm saying? You was going good, but you ain't paying attention that it was getting ready to be the full moon in down Virgo or whatever it is. So I got to be careful of this thing. Be careful of this thing or whatever the case. So like I said, right, just get your mind right and put yourself into a situation right now. Right now. Get everything that you need to get. So as the moon get ready to go in Virgo, or do everything you need to do, even when it comes into your creative attributes and stuff like that, because you'll be waiting around. Then now you get all this extra for wanting to do it. It's too late. Should have used it when the moon was in Leo. Now you're trying to do it in Virgo. It don't matter how hype you get. It's going to be just as much hypeness of something trying to block you or frustrate you or something like that, or make it seem like it's a little bit, you got to do a little bit more just to get it done when you ain't normally have to do that much before. So you're going to be meeting those type of frustrations and things that try to wear and tear on your mental and physical fleshly fluids and stuff. So just be aware of that. Learn how to take it easy. Y'all should be taking it easy right now and getting fulfilled. So therefore, you don't have to be in a situation of having to take it hard when you're having to do things that you're unfulfilled. Pause. Normal. You know what I'm saying? You know. But yeah, love all y'all from the bottom of my goddamn heart. Fight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You know, I'm starting to get cramped up. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. You know, for that. Back to Haël'Ho, that Yahlahue, Massasoit, Mama Natoy. You know, for that.